Good morning, everyone. Today we have an eminent speaker with us. First of all, welcome to MyLogic's Insightful Minds, a professional talk series, episode 4. Rising demand for financial planning professionals, insights and opportunities. And for that subject, we have the right person, an amazing speaker. Krishan Mishra is available with us. Welcome, sir.
Thank you so much.
So on the subject, before we start into the program, a brief introduction about Mr. Krishan Mishra, and I will give an idea about the agenda for today. Krishan Mishra has completed his graduation from Indore University, got into BFSI sector, insurance segment initially for a decade, subsequently moved his track to education segment, and has been part of India's leading role in organization called ACCA for a very long tenure. Subsequently moved to Becker, one of the internationally well-known content provider, head the India business for Becker. Now, Mr. Krishan is the Chief Executive Officer of FPSB, who promotes Certified Financial Program in India. Welcome, sir, once again. It's been a great pleasure and honor to be part of this session. So, agenda we have set says that initially you will give an overview about financial planning programs in India and a brief about FPSB and CFP program. Then we move on to the set of questions, wherein through that questions we create awareness to the students about financial planning, the possibilities, opportunities, the challenges which we face in the changing world. All these aspects we will touch upon. And finally, if there is any questions coming from students, that also we will take it. So over to you, Mr. Krishan.
Thank you so much, Vinod, and good morning, everyone. It's a great pleasure to be here, and I'm honored to speak with you, Vinod. I've been following you for a long time, and finally we meet and we discuss
Absolutely.
about financial planning profession.
Indeed. So to start with it, if you can give an overview about the financial FPSB body in India, and start with a brief about CFP program. While in our questions we will be covering all aspects in much detail, but if you can, as a curtain raiser, if you can give a brief, that would be really helpful for the audience.
Sure. Thank you so much for asking me this question, Vinod. The FPSB India is the 100% subsidiary of Financial Planning Standards Board Limited, which is based out of Denver, Colorado State in USA. And this is a global organization to set the standards for financial planning. So what we do is that we set these standards for financial planning worldwide. And we also examine and certify candidates for a global gold standard certification named as Certified Financial Planner. You'll be happy to know that currently we have more than 223,700 plus professionals who are working globally in 28 territories. And in India, currently we have 2731 professionals. The demand for the CFP professionals is very high. And we have got very less people, so supply is less in terms of the requirement that we have in our country today.
Absolutely.
Financial planning as a profession in India is growing very fast because what has happened is apparently in the last couple of years, we have seen our spending habits have changed. There are so many financial products which have come in the market. There have been certain unethical practices in the past because of which people were not able to trust the people who were going and selling them a product. Now, when we look at a certified financial planner professional, interestingly, this professional is more of a consultant, a financial doctor who behaves like a general physician and thinks about your life. So when we look at any customer's life, we look at their life goals rather than just the money-related goals. Right? And life goals are such that we look at our life at various spectrums, at various milestones in a very different way. Say, for example, I'm 22 today. I will have a goal, say by 28 I would like to have something in my life. However, life can change. You might get married, you might have kids, and so many other things come in life, and you think about all those things which have come to you now. You have to think about your child education, plan for your retirement, look at creating a legacy for the future, and these things are really very important. So a certified financial planner professional doesn't leave you by selling a one product. They practically be with you throughout your life. Okay? At every stage, like your family doctor, they are practically your financial doctor.
Absolutely.
Yeah, they're part of your family only to take care of that. And in India, a lot of people need financial help. A lot of people need help in terms of understanding their goals and executing those life goals in terms of a plan. And practically what these people do is that they get into a scientific method of looking at the need analysis first. So we check the need of the client first, and then we look at their risk tolerance, we look at their incomes, we look at their expenses, and then we talk to them about their life goals step by step. At each step, what is something which you're looking forward to, and then practically a scientific plan is prepared, given to the client based on their behavior and attitude and aptitude and their risk tolerance factor. And then what happens is this client is able to create more value for their money, as well as they are able to navigate their lives better. In fact, we did a research very recently, where in the value of financial planning, what we found is that people who took the advice from a certified financial planner professional, they could navigate their lives much more better. So you can think about this profession as a very, very noble profession, wherein you can help people.
Indeed, absolutely. So, before we come into the, the specific question answer session, probably the fun part, the financial planning per se, ever since, the accounting started, the centuries back when the accounting started, the financial planning was always part of that journey, though it is not related to, we find huge difference between a financial accounting, which is more of a back-end job, whereas financial planning, it is more of future-looking area. So, can you give us your insights about financial planning, the concept of financial planning, in overall sense, evolving of financial planning, your thoughts on that?
Sure. And you rightly said, that accounting was started somewhere around 140 years back.
Correct.
Right, and then obviously, once it was started in US, we normally follow the suit. So practically everywhere it was started. And we started with chartered accountants in India under the CA Act in 1949. Right, and then obviously everybody started saying that, can we look at finance? Because accounting is a backward-looking function, finance is more forward-looking. And then what happened is, people said that, okay, let's start something which is related to corporate finance. However, people forgot that corporate finance is for the organizations. What about your own personal finance?
Absolutely.
And when we talk about sustainability in our lives, practically it is about each individual getting financially sustainable.
Agree.
And that is the reason why, when you are able to make one individual financially sustainable, you are able to make a family financially sustainable, which means that you can make the society financially sustainable, and the economy automatically grows. And when we look at personal finances, what we found is that in the year 1973, we had obviously certified first 50 CFP professionals. Right? And it has been approximately around 51 years that the CFP certification has been started. And then last year we celebrated the golden jubilee of those 50 professionals. So it's been a good journey. And interestingly, Vinod, you'll agree with me that whatever we teach in our curriculum is not being taught in any curriculum.
Absolutely. In fact, that is one of the points that will be coming up. So very well articulated that point. In fact, you highlighted about the 220 plus members, which is very unique. Many of the upcoming professional programs do not have that much of professional. So I would say probably next to ACCA when it comes to global standards. FPSB stands, if I'm not wrong. So that is a real good progress and continued progress, I would say, FPSB for CFP program being initiated across the globe. Now my next question is the current trends, what is happening in financial world as a whole. The current trends which leads to, what your thoughts with respect to the current trends, which leads to, everywhere, when it comes to the markets, when we discuss about market, we are closely, connected, CFA professionals closely connected. What do you think, what is the current trends which creates a leading increase in financial planning awareness and the demand for being a finance professional? What is your thoughts on it?
Sure. Thank you so much for asking me this question. And let me take you to 80s, right? And if you remember in the year 1980s, people used to earn salaries in hundreds.
Correct.
Yeah, and when 90s came, we started talking about salaries in thousands. However, when we entered 2000, we started talking about CTCs, the cost of companies in lakhs. Right? And post 2020, what has happened is that we talk about salaries in crores.
Correct. Absolutely.
The next level would be much more.
Absolutely.
So our incomes have increased. Obviously, expenses have also gone up. However, what has happened is the trends which have changed the entire spectrum is that our parents and their parents never had an access to financial products, right? Or stock markets, the access was very, very limited.
True.
Right? When we used to think about financial products in those days, we used to think about provident fund, we used to think about post office, we used to think about an FD, and nothing more than that.
Absolutely.
True. Come 2000, everybody started talking about SIPs. So many other products came in the market, invest in the equity markets, stock market, everywhere. The second trend which has changed is that we as a society have been a society wherein people used to earn money first and then worry where to spend. Now what has happened is we have become a society wherein we spend money first and then worry from where will I earn and reap it. Right? And you need help here. You need to understand, because see, practically if you don't manage your finances well, finances start managing you. And once finances will start managing you, it would be really very difficult for you to make a comeback. Right? So it is very important for us to ensure that we manage our finances really well. So spending habits have changed. So many financial products have come. If you look at the plethora of entire financial services industry, from banking to financial services to insurance to stockbroking firms to multinational corporations, wherein in the Treasury Department you need financial planning professionals. There is a huge demand. In fact, you'll be surprised to hear that in the last 4 years, India has created new 1,000 plus family offices. Which means look at the wealth which is right? Family offices practically manage the private wealth of clients. Private banking as a segment is growing very fast. And let me quote an example here. Before 2000, the top job for any graduate was FMCG in IT. Right? When people entered 2000, people started talking about consulting. Everybody wanted to become a consultant. 2011 onwards, investment banking was the flavor of the market. And 2020 onwards, now the flavor is private banking. The segment is growing very, very fast, and people need a lot of support there. And practically, the number of professionals which are required is, I would say, multi-fold.
Absolutely. Can't agree more than that. So because in fact, I talk to a lot of IT professionals, those who are enrolling with us for the CFP program. I have seen there is a huge move of IT professionals becoming a financial advisors. I'm sure you'll have more to say about it. So there are a lot of IT professionals who want to come out of IT profession, become consultants and financial advisors, and they start their own practice. At least 2 to 3 youngsters I have seen, who has been in that track. And you touched upon very wonderful points with respect to the family offices, which is coming up. Also the spending habits, the 30 years back to now, we earn and then spend. Now it is spend, and the culture has young generation. That's a big message to the youngsters who are watching today. Now my next key question, as the CEO of FPSB India, what are the initiatives FPSB is taking to establish or to build up financial planning professionals to meet this large requirement? We both agree that there is a huge need of financial planning or the advisors in industry, particularly in emerging market like India. So what are FPSB India's initiatives to build that?
Very good question. Thank you so much for asking me this question. See, if you look at India, people need a lot of help. And what we found is that we might be educated. We might have done chartered accountancy, we might have done MBA, engineering, or whatever we have done. But the challenge is that we are not financially educated. Right? And financially educated means a very strong set of people. I have seen people who might be managing their organizations really well as CEOs, CFOs, CHROs, or senior leadership positions. However, when it comes to their own personal finances, they struggle. So in India, we need to make everybody financially educated. That is one of the major agendas that we have. And obviously, we would like people to take it up as a profession. Now, when we look at this course, the Certified Financial Planner Certification course, this program practically gives you an opportunity to learn this as a life skill. Irrespective of your vertical, whether you are from IT, you are an engineer, you might be a scientist, you might be an army officer, air force officer, or a doctor, whatever you are, you can get into this certification, learn it for your own benefit, that's number one, and two is to help people at large. Now I can tell you that during pandemic, a lot of doctors, they started doing CFP certification.
Indeed.
Yeah. Because they wanted to help their clients.
Correct.
I have got people who are ranging between the age of 18 to 75.
Okay.
So my youngest student is 75 years old.
Okay.
And the beauty of this certification is that you can get employed in the market,
Correct.
and you can also practice in the market. So it actually creates an opportunity on both the sides.
Correct.
And I can tell you that it is not about employment opportunities. Employment opportunities in India for this kind of professional is pretty large. What is more important is to become able or capable enough to pick up that job. So this certification prepares you and gives you that capability so that you're able to take that job. So our job as FPSB India is to ensure that we give you that ability. For this, what we have started doing is that we are working very closely with the government, with the regulators. We are also working closely with the large business schools, top business schools like IIM Bangalore and Indian Institute of Foreign Trade. We are also looking at expanding our education provider network to give you an access to more tuitions, right? Though we are not interested in having many, because we don't want each other to cannibalize everything, but what our focus is to ensure that we give you support to get the quality education, quality teaching, learning, and I can tell you that MyLogic and partners like yours who have been able to give a lot of support. When you come to an institution like MyLogic, practically you get a support not only at the start of the program wherein you get enrolled, but you get a lot of support till you get certified and beyond that also. Right?
No, definitely, yes. Yes, in fact, you mentioned about the top business schools. I was fortunate to be part of last day FPSB and IMB meet. And one of the panel discussion, I think the introduction speech, one of the speakers was highlighting about the engagement of IMB with army officers. The huge retired pension, how they planning, and definitely a body like FPSB can do wonders with respect to contribution. So
we are in touch with the Director General of Resettlement. There is a good amount of request which is coming to us to give them that support. And in fact, army officers and army soldiers, Air Force soldiers and officers, Navy soldiers and officers, they retire very early. They need a lot of support with a good corpus, so we actually help them do that. In fact, there are a lot of CFP professionals who are army officers themselves. So it has become a good second career for them. See, in life, what is really very important for us to know that beyond retirement, we need to play the second innings also. Our life span has actually increased. The average Indian lives up to the age of 73 now, right? With the medical support and everything. And what we foresee is that in the next 5 years, average age of Indian in terms of lifespan would be somewhere around 80. So which is really good. We are progressing towards that side. The other thing which is really very important for us to understand is that though our average lifespan is 80 or 73, we are the youngest population in the world. We have got the youngest age of average age of 28.2. Right? If average Indian is 28.2, look at this, that tomorrow if the world needs leader, they look up to India.
Absolutely. In fact, the countries like Italy, they struggle to have
people. Look at Japan, look at China. Majority of the countries outside, they are aging population. Their average age is touching somewhere between 55 to 65. And we have the youngest population in the world. And the power of you, all the students here who are listening to us, I can tell you that we can speak very fast with an American, and we can speak very slowly with a Chinese and a Singaporean. That's the power of India.
Very true. In fact, next is all the more relevant for youngsters. When we look at the financial planning as a profession, we expect to have a lot of skill set, the technical skills or the interpersonal skills, or there are a lot of skills are expected for a with respect to the adding to that, how a CFP certification, certified financial program, can help these youngsters to stabilize their career, whether as an industry, progressing towards an industry leader, or towards moving as a advisory role, as you mentioned, as an entrepreneur. So, looking forward to your thoughts.
Sure. See, the good thing with this certification is that it gives you an opportunity to learn certain things which you have never learned in your education system. Right? The first module actually talks about investment planning, so you are able to understand investment planning as a wholesome profession. Once you move to the next level, you actually go through the nuances of insurance, retirement, and tax plans. Further to that, you have estate planning and risk planning. You tell me which institution teaches you anything related to estate planning or retirement planning, right? And then what happens is you actually go ahead and prepare a real life financial plan based on a case study which is very, very practical. And then finally you write the CFP exam. So this examination gives you a lot of skills. Now if we talk about skills, the number one skill which is really very important for any individual which they learn from here is that they become co-pilots. Yeah, they have the ability to fly a plane. In a similar way as you look at organizations, so they are like, say, if the CEO is the pilot, they are very close to them, sitting with them and ensuring that the organization goes to the next level, right? Because, see, it is easy for you to get the finance when you start a business, but it is about growing that money, ultimately. If you look at the Fortune 500 companies, around the world, right, they do not make money from their core businesses, but they make money from investment income. And that's why financial planners are needed in the organizations, right? If you look at individuals also, in their lives, if they want to grow and have a larger purpose, it will happen only when they are able to understand the markets well. So this is really very important for all of us to understand. So the other skill that you get is that you learn about emotional intelligence, you are able to learn about planning, you are able to learn about how to execute things, because technical knowledge is a given when you talk to everyone. Right? Once you are a certified financial planner professional, he or she will feel that you have got the technical knowledge. What is more important is that are you able to make that technical knowledge into a commercial proposition for the organization and make money out of it? Because ultimately the employer is looking forward to that. Or if you start on your own enterprise, practically are you able to commercialize that opportunity? And if you are able to do it, then you are in the right field. So you get the entrepreneurial skills, which is really very important. Entrepreneurial skills are more about having that behavior, that attitude to go ahead and work anywhere in the world and help any organization, whether it is your own organization or somebody else's organization. You become a good leader, so leadership skills, you are able to manage teams, so people skills. So all these things come when you do this kind of a course. This course is very, very practical because we do not ask you theory questions. What we ask you is the application of what you have done.
No, absolutely. In fact, for the interest of students who are watching, few statistics may be very relevant for you. In India, particularly I'm saying about the students community at large. In India there are around 1,000 universities, almost around 15,000 colleges, almost around 4 million, 44 lakh students pursue BCom, BBA or any of its stream. I'm saying only about BCom, BBA streams, and the opportunities what they have, the conventional programs like chartered accountancy, definitely a lack of students goes for that. Other than the demand for the second layer B schools have come down substantially, and a lot of courses emerging. I would say the international finance professional programs has started creating more and more interest among students these days, of which I would say CFP is one of the fastest progressing. If you look at last 3 years, the kind of growth particularly FPSB in India is making is phenomenal. So I would say one of the reasons for that is this particular program, CFP program, had only 4 papers. This is for the interest of the students as a whole. There are 3 papers, 100% objective type questions. The first 3 papers, which Krishan has mentioned, relating to investment planning, retirement planning, estate planning, give you an overall idea about financial planning and related areas. And the 4th paper is more of a practical application of all the 3 case study simulation level paper. So which in effect, a student who completes a graduation will be in a normal course will be able to complete in a span of 1 to 1.5 years just by clearing 4 papers. And in fact, the opportunities, as we discussed, the supply is very limited these days. So you have a huge demand. I've seen the exceptional salary packages. Thanks to FPSB's effort in India also, which is commendable. I've seen even freshers getting offers of 7.5 lakhs. I'm just quoting the numbers to encourage you. To that extent, there are possibilities existing today once you complete CFP program. The question was more specific on CFP program, so I just elaborated more.
Sure. Thank you so much for doing that, So I just wanted to share one. That these questions are not multiple choice, these are multiple task questions. So you'll have small case slips that you need to solve, and practically if you are able to apply what you have learned, then you'll be successful. Remember that any professional course will actually prepare you towards becoming a better individual, a better person with the society needs.
Well, that's one thing what I have, we in myriad we provide around 10+ programs. One program we have noticed that throughout the practical application of CFP program, from end to end you find, different programs have, initially base level, knowledge level, you find, the kids coming up in a progressive way. But CFP is throughout you find a lot of practical application, something which is commendable. I have.
And you become specialist.
Absolutely.
So each module gives you a specialist certification.
Correct.
And then once you complete the full program, you need to go for 1 to 3 years of experience.
Absolutely.
Before you become a CFP professional. In case you are experienced, right, and you have prior learning, like you are a chartered accountant, or maybe any other professional course qualification you've done, you have an opportunity to join us in the fast track module, wherein you will be able to complete the entire program between 6 to 8 months.
Oh, interesting. Okay. We were discussing about how countries FPSBs have its roots. So, which are the regions? I'm sure India is rapidly progressing, no doubts, thanks to you and their team of FPSB. But which are the regions in general you see that the growth of FPSB is happening and the demand for CFP professionals are increasing?
So globally, some of the markets where the demand is very high is like South America.
Okay.
It's growing very fast. Then you have markets like Thailand, Indonesia.
Okay.
They are also growing very fast. However, India stood number 4 globally,
okay,
and number 3 in Asia Pacific last year. And we hope that this time we are going to improve our ranking.
Okay.
Yeah, and we are looking forward to contributing towards the profession.
Okay.
See, the demand for profession anywhere in the world is growing fast. If you look at US alone, you know what is US population.
Right.
We have got a population of 1.44 billion people, right? And you have got 2731 CFP professionals. US has around 100,000 plus professionals. It is pretty large because obviously it has been there for more.
It indicates a potential for us to grow.
Yes. If you look at China, obviously China's population is quite high, but they have around 35,000 professionals already. If you look at Japan, Japan has around 40,000 professionals. So these markets are already evolved markets, wherein they look forward to such kind of services on a regular basis. As I said, in US you are more like a family doctor.
Correct.
Without you, without a CFP professional, nobody can think about doing anything in the market.
Absolutely.
It's really very important. See, remember one thing, students, that a CFP professional is not here to sell. A CFP professional is here to give you the consultancy. Right? They never sell. What they do is that they will look at giving you the right consultancy. Say, for example, there are doctors. So we CFP professionals like us are practically the general physicians. So if you have fever, they will tell you to have paracetamol, not crocin or Adolo, because that's somebody else's job. Let the pharmacists do that. So we have got pharmacists available in the market, but the CFP professional will do a wholesome job and ensure that you get the right help at the right time. See, advice has to come from the right person. It cannot come from everywhere.
Absolutely. Agree. No, very, very valid point. See, the culture will change in India also over the time, because we follow many of the practices from Western countries as well. Keeping that in mind, definitely, in times to come, we consult a doctor, consulting a financial planner, it is in cards. It's just a matter of time we come with it. Now, very, very relevant question again from a student perspective. What are the opportunities for a CFP completed students? I'm going a little more specific into it. While we discussed about industry and as an entrepreneur possibilities, we discussed that. But from an employment market, precisely what are the opportunities for a CFP qualified professional in India?
Sure. And thank you so much for asking this question. If you look at the students, they would look at a program wherein there are opportunities.
Absolutely. Correct.
There's a good return on investment.
Absolutely.
And this program, I can assure you, gives you a very strong return on investment because the opportunity is very, very large. See, if you look at the BFSI sector, the banking sector itself is so large that you have got public sector banks, you have got private sector banks, you have got foreign banks, you have got cooperative banks, you have got rural banks, and you also have NBFCs, you have small finance banks, you have got payment banks, and all these banks need people.
Right.
Think about it that SBI is a very large bank, has got 29,140 odd branches across the country. And each of the branches, they on an average appoint at least 10 people. So SBI has got a set of around 300,000 people who are working for them. Look at the insurance industry, right? We have got 26 life, 26 non-life, 6 health companies, 8 are in the pipeline. None of this business can be done without the professionals who can look forward to a career there because you need people. People are the lifeblood of this business.
Knowledge is critical.
If you look at the mutual fund industry, 46 mutual fund companies are there in this country. Right? I mentioned about the family offices, 1,000 plus family offices. Broking firms, which is stock broking, insurance broking, so many firms are there. These are countless numbers. I cannot put them on my fingertips, right? So, practically huge number of requirement. If you look at the other area which I mentioned about the treasury departments, wherein there is a good amount of requirement, and there are a lot of chartered accountants who now do our program to perform these roles really better. Right? So, opportunities are there on all these areas. The other thing is that now CFP professionals are needed to create products, to manage products, as well as to distribute products. So all three levels, they can be into strategy, they can be into risk management, they can play leadership roles within the organization and ensure that the organization moves ahead. So this is the employability area, and second is the practice area, which we know that it is thriving very fast. I can tell you that people who practice, they earn more than the people who are employed.
No, I agree. The long term always that, and there's no retirement as well.
Yes.
So in fact, very valid points. So always the opportunities comes up, a lot of responsibility comes up, accountability added to that. Also, it comes with a lot of challenges as well. I'm sure once you've taken over the role of CEO, a lot of challenges. I would say as a whole, what are the challenges industry faces? Then of course adding to that FPSB, the challenges you came across through so far in your journey. If you could share that.
Sure. Thank you so much, for asking me, because I have spent a decade in the financial services industry myself, right, and then in education. So, interestingly, wherever there is a challenge, there is opportunity as well. Right? So, it is practically, people should understand that when I took it as a challenge, I knew that there is a large opportunity to look forward to, and which is the people of India. Right? And if you choose this as a profession, if you choose this as a career for yourself, I can assure you that you will have a very long-term career to look forward to. We have survived for the last 51 years, and I can see that this would be the need for not only today, for tomorrow, and for the entire future, because this is something which has to remain with you. Right? 20 years back, if you used to buy an AC, people used to feel that it is more of a luxurious item. Today it has become a need. Right? 20 years back, financial planning was not a need, but today it's a need. And you need to ask for it as a fundamental right. It is really very important for each and every individual, whether you are an elite for your wealth, or maybe you have just started your career. You need to manage your finances really well. So there is a good amount of opportunity at all levels. If I talk about challenges, yes, as I said, the first challenge is that we are educated, but we are not financially educated. That's one challenge. Second is, as of now, there are a lot of people who might not be certified or qualified. They are giving advice to people. They are known as influencers. The regulators are looking at ensuring that we get the right people to give you the right advice, and a certification or credential becomes really very important. The third challenge is that there is a herd mentality in our country. When we look at investing or we look at buying any product, financial product, we actually listen to people who have never invested themselves. I can tell you that, for example, you go and watch a cricket match in a, say, cricket ground, like for example, Chinnaswamy Stadium in Bangalore. What will happen is that if the Virat Kohli is not able to hit a particular ball, somebody is sitting there saying, and this person says, oh, if I would have been there in the position of Virat Kohli, I would have hit this ball like this, and six. But practically this person has never played cricket. So we have got so many people who give advice who are not the right people. We should not be going to them. The third thing which we have to do is that whenever we go to the market, we should do our own due diligence. Right? Due diligence is really very important for every individual, and please, the financial services needs this thing that every individual is woken up and he or she is able to look at due diligence himself. The next thing is that, are you looking at asset diversification, which is really very important. A lot of people just go and put their entire money on a particular product. That is another challenge. And that's the challenge for the profession as well as for these organizations. Right? And the most important thing is that, do you have the risk tolerance level? I have seen people, they invest today and tomorrow they'll say, oh, my money has come down. Or maybe day after tomorrow again they're checking. If you start checking about your stocks and your SIPs on a daily basis, you'll have a heart attack within 90 days. Right? It is always good for you to look at a long-term perspective. And when we say that you have to come to a CFP professional, somebody who's looking for a short-term benefit, they should never approach a CFP. If you're looking at a long-term perspective and looking at a risk tolerance level that, okay, I have that tolerance for me, then only you should get into the market and talk to the right professional. Right? So asking about the credentials, asking about the certifications, is really very important. Right now, people don't ask. I'm sure 2 years down the line, with our efforts, we'll ensure that each and every person asks you before you invest in it.
Absolutely. That's a very, very valid point. Particularly, when it comes to financial advisors, we go to X and Y many a times. But the question of credibility, whether they are qualified enough to give you the guidance is something a question mark. And definitely the CFP professional can make that difference. That's a huge challenge today, but that's an opportunity for future as well. Okay. Now, Krishan, one thing, anything we discuss today and in future as well, something we cannot keep away is the technological part of it.
Good.
Industry 4.0 we are discussing about Industry 5.0 times to come. So, what is the impact of technology when it comes to financial planning as a advisory role or any of these areas? Vis-a-vis what is initiative from FPSB to ensure that we are not left alone. In a technological world, we need to be in that direction. I'm sure a leader like you always thinks from the long-term vision. So, what is your thoughts and FPSB's actions towards that?
Sure. Thank you so much. Let me quote an example here first. See, the jobs which are very mundane and basic in nature are supposed to be done by the softwares or the robots of the
Correct.
And these robots or softwares are very interesting people. They don't ask you for any salary. They don't ask for any promotion. They don't go for smoke breaks or tea breaks or lunch breaks. But they can produce the results as you want, right? As per the data that you have fed, they'll be able to give you the results. But they cannot take the decision, right? Financial planning is a very, very emotional decision, right? It is about your money, hard-earned money that you have saved for so many years. So if you are thinking about taking advice from a financial planner, you will not believe a robot or a software. You can believe a human being only because this individual is part of your family. That is the kind of relationship these people maintain when they actually go ahead and talk to them. They go and attend their marriages, their children marriages, they attend all kinds of functions which happen in the family. They are part of the family only throughout their lives. The other thing is that if you look at technology, AI was discovered in the year 1952. True. Yeah. If you look at the industry 5.0, from technology, 5.1 is talking about emotional aspect, right? They are talking about human emotions.
Absolutely.
Right? In fact, Japan, which used to talk about technology since day one, is talking about human intelligence and human emotional relationships. Right? So it has completely changed. Everybody is thinking about that. Technology will come. Always remember, students and anybody who is watching us today, that technology is practically going to enable you. It is a tool, you should learn how to use that tool. It is not something which you have to go and code yourself. You are not supposed to code, let it be done by the engineer. Otherwise, engineers will take up your jobs. Right? So if you take their jobs, they will start taking your job. So what you have to do is that you should be able to embrace the technology, learn the nuances because technology is ever changing. Every day something new will come. What we do is that we have got a very strong continuous professional development program. Each and every CFP professional is asked to go through that CPD program on a yearly basis, prove that they have learned these things before they renew their certification. Renewal does not happen directly. I'll pay my renewal fee and I'll be able to continue with my certification. To continue with your certification, you need to have the CPDs. And when I say CPD, we create a lot of opportunities for them to learn, whether about technology, about the regulation changes, compliances, or anything which is happening new in the market related to any of the topics that we are covering in our program, but we ensure that we give you that knowledge. If anything which is not covered, that is also being given as an additional knowledge.
Understood. Very clear. So that's you articulated very well. Now, I feel it's a very, very important as a profession as a whole. We talk about trust. Trust is something we cannot keep away when it comes to financial planning, particularly advisory role. And so your thoughts on how trust plays a vital role in financial planning and advisory role. Vis-a-vis, I'm sure CFP curriculum also being covered with ethical practices and related areas. So how we take care of or impart that that culture in a CFP aspirant or the financial planning professional from day one, and we build that professionals who have that integrity levels or the ethical factors imparted to them from day one to support the future. What is your thoughts on that?
Thank you so much for asking this question, Vijay. See, trust comes from only one thing. That whatever you commit, you should be able to deliver. Right? And clients, when they look at CFP professionals, they know that CFP professionals will always keep client first approach. They will not have their own benefit approach. Right? If you look at any salesperson who might be selling any other financial product in the market, they will think about their benefit first, not their commission.
Absolutely.
Here, we think about the client benefit, and it actually helps us in breaking the ice.
Yeah.
That's something which is part of our process, wherein we always think about client. Second is, as I said, we don't just sell. We give them a financial plan. And financial plan is not about buying a product or a transaction. It is more about navigating your life. Right? And that is the reason why CFP professionals really play a very important role there. And that also helps in building that trust. True. The other thing what we do is that in CFP certification, ethics module is compulsory, is a good code of conduct, and every year they have to prove that they are adhering to those code of conduct.
Interesting.
Yeah. So, in case somebody is not adhering to that, we have all the rights to revoke their certification. Yeah, and we do that. There have been certain cases. Internationally, India as of now it has not happened, which means we have got good people. But yes, in case somebody gets into such kind of malpractices, we are very clear. We do not want such people to be.
So we have to protect the trust factor. Again, all these relevant questions I'm asking on behalf of students. What are your thoughts or what are your advices to the aspiring young finance professionals who are into financial planning and advisory roles? What is your guidance to them? What is your direction to them or advices to them?
Sure. Thank you, Vinod, for asking me this question. See, for the students and aspirants, it is really very important that, first of all, whenever you look at any program, as I said, whenever you're looking at investing in the market, you need to do the due diligence. Do the due diligence for any program that you would like to get into. Check the ROI. Check what you're going to get out of this program. What are the career opportunities which are available. Do everything before you get into any program. And once you have got into it, always think that either you are 100 or above 100, but not 99. So your commitment has to be really very up to the mark. You have to ensure that you're fully committed to the program and the profession you would like to get into. Right? I don't want people to just come in and then think about something else. Right? So it is really very important for people to weigh those options. The other thing which is really very important is that if you are looking forward to a job in life, then don't join any professional course. When you are looking forward to a career, then only you should think about a professional course. Right? So there is a big difference between getting into a job and a career. Right? So for example, today I meet someone and ask them, okay, what are you doing? And this person says, I'm executive with XYZ company. And 15 years later, again I meet that person. He says that I'm executive with XYZ company. He's in a job, not in a career. Career will give you so many things, not only money, but learning opportunities, experiences, career ladder, wherein you move from one level to another and take up various kinds of roles. When we look at a financial planning professional, they are wholesome finance professionals, right? They have knowledge about all the areas related to finance. They can manage an organization well. They can also go ahead and work in an organization well. Right? So it has entrepreneurial opportunities, it also has the employability opportunities. And for the students, always remember that don't do a course in case you feel that it is going to give me short-term gain. Okay? Look at the long-term gain. Long-term gain is really very important, whether you're doing investment or whether you're doing investment in your career. Absolutely. Right? And always keep on learning. Upskill yourself, get more knowledge. Learning should not stop. Learning should happen till the last breath of our life. If somebody stops learning, he's not there in this world.
You have touched very, very critical aspects. In fact, many of my seminars, I keep addressing students the same point. Particularly, these days youngsters, who just complete graduation, probably whatever reasons they get into a job with 15,000, 20,000 jobs in BPM segments. So they typically look for a job, not for a career. This is what I keep addressing. Yes, you are excited from a zero income, you grow to an 18,000 income, 20,000 income. But that's not giving you a long-term stability in your journey, whether as a professional or in your personal life. So start thinking about your career. Very valid point, Krishan, you have touched upon. Think from a career point of view rather than a job point of view. And whenever you are thinking a professional program like CFP, which helps you out, the 40 years of yours will be till you retire, I assume. So will be taken care through this professional program. That's the beauty of program like CFP. Now, to the existing professionals, those who may not have got the certification per se, but they are into practicing financial planning, or those who are working who wanted to get into, financial planning area. What is your thoughts for them to, get into this professional program and how to move forward? What's your thoughts on that?
Thank you so much, Vinod. And if you look at the entire BFSI industry, there are a lot of people who might be doing these kind of roles, right? But they might not be certified. See, as I said, a certification helps you break the ice. It creates that trust.
Confidence, yeah.
So, for example, and if you remember, whenever those unethical practices happened, which was majorly 20 years back, in the last few years, it has slightly reduced. However, these unethical practices were happening from people who never had any knowledge about these products. They were just selling the product without knowing the aftermath effects of these products, which will happen on the clients, which are the repercussions. So I remember people going to a bank to deposit FD, the money was deposited in insurance, client was not aware that he needs to pay for 10 years. Right? So, for example, somebody had 10 lakh rupees, he went and thought of giving it as FD, and then the money was deposited in insurance. How can he pay 10 lakh rupees per annum for a period of 10 years? Right? So it's practically wrong. And when you do a certification like this, right, and you are working in this industry, it will give you a very strong edge in terms of your career progression. You need to upskill yourself. It becomes your lifetime designation, which is really important. So whatever is your name, you'll be able to write CFP after your name. One advantage here is that you might look at any other international certification. Say, for example, you have done certification from India or UK, US people will not recognize you. Right? On the other hand, when it comes to CFP certification, you're a CFP anywhere in the world, people will be able to recognize you because CFP marks and the financial planning marks are owned by Financial Planning Standards Board. So we own these marks, and practically it will ensure that you have a global passport. One thing that you need to remember is that in case you're looking forward to global mobility, you need to understand the nuances of the local regulations and compliances, because regulations and compliances in accounting and finance differ from one country to another. So you need to learn, do that gap exam, and then move to any other country wherever you want to go. And this program has been newly recognized across these 28 territories and most of the part of the world.
In fact, my next question, you have touched upon that point. We have the CFP certification across the globe. Country to country, when you look at what are the difference you find fundamentally, the changes what you find from US to India or from other Southeast Asian countries to India, what are the differences you find, and specific to India, what are the possibilities? Let's say an Indian who holds CFP want to go to US, how he can leverage the certification. What is your thoughts?
Sure. And thank you so much, Vinod. This is a very, very important and a valid question for majority of the students who are looking forward to a global mobility. We have a very strong cross-border program. As I mentioned to you, each country has got a separate regulation and compliance requirement. Right? Something which is ethical in India might be unethical in US or say in UK. Something which is wrong in UK might be right in India. That is also possible. Right? And that's the reason why, when it comes to legal and taxation and compliance related aspects, we need to learn them before we go and execute anything in it for the rest of the world. The other countries, their requirement is very simple. They ask you to write that examination. See, our program is such that majority of it we cover at a global scale. Right? The program has got global aspects. However, you are going to advise clients in a particular country. You need to learn the nuances of that country. That's really very important. And what is happening is in India, now we have got the International Financial Hub also. Yeah, we have got the International Financial Services Center in Gandhinagar near Ahmedabad, wherein there are a lot of international organizations who are coming and establishing their base. They need people who can actually advise clients anywhere in the world. Previously, we used to import financial products from outside the world. Now we are looking at exporting financial products from India to the rest of the world. So it is completely changing. And the Gandhinagar Gift City International Financial Services Center is an international destination. It is not part of India anymore. It is not domestic. It is completely an international location. So you need not go anywhere else, but you can be here only and help clients anywhere in the world.
Understood.
Yeah. But you have to choose your country. You can't be going to all the countries. It's not possible, right? If you want to do it for US, do it. If you want to do it for Canada, Singapore, Australia, New Zealand, you have to choose your country because again, compliances and regulations will differ from one country. There's something which we need to keep in mind.
So just maybe I'm going a little more specific to that question.
Sure.
Let's say somebody completed CFP in India, wanted to migrate to some other countries. So they need to write some additional exams to have that certification valid, or how?
Yeah. So what they have to do is that they have to take a letter of good standing from us,
Okay.
and apply to the country where they would like to relocate. Like for example, Canada, UK, Australia, New Zealand, US, Singapore, Hong Kong, wherever you want to go. There is a dual recognition which is there because we operate out of these countries, right? Only thing that you have to do is that as in when you move there, you write the gap exam, apply for the license and the certification, and you can start operating. There is no challenge at all. In fact, CFP certification is part of skills in Australia already.
Absolutely.
Right? You get additional points if you wish to move there because there is a good demand for CFP professionals in Australia. Do you know advice in Australia is the most expensive advice?
Okay.
You pay 3,250 Australian dollars to get one advice.
So this is something very exciting for those students who are aspiring to go abroad as well, settle down in, there's a lot of movement these days, students going to UK, different parts of Europe, Australia, Canada, this migration. So a CFP certification definitely can be a platform for you. You can keep a note of that. Krishan, we are coming to the last part of our session. What is as a CEO of FPSB in India, what is your long-term visions? What are the plans of FPSB in India? Definitely, many of the institutions, many of the, I have seen, with associated with the global professional bodies for last almost 2 decades. I have seen the phenomenal change what has happened ever since you have taken over as the CEO of FPSB and your wonderful team. So that is something which I seen. So I could say no matter of time you become India's one of the top leading finance professionals. I could predict it now. A few years from now, FPSB and CFP program is going to be in the top 3 in India. Without any doubts, I can confidently vouch it with the leadership role what you have taken up. So what are the your vision for FPSB and CFP professionals in the coming future?
Thank you, Vinod. And again, a very, very important question. I must give you commendation for asking such a wonderful question. See, Vinod, if you look at us as an organization, our first goal is to ensure that we are able to educate people at large around the country to understand about their finances. So they should have an understanding. That is one of the goals that we have. And for this, we are very much interested in supporting and giving this knowledge in schools, in colleges, in universities, wherever they are. Irrespective of their vertical. You might be doing engineering, you might be doing MBBS, you might be doing, say, for example, fashion designing, hotel management. You think about any profession, you need to understand about your finances. You should have that knowledge about your finances, right? That's really important. People feel that, okay, I should be in MBA finance or in MBA in marketing, then only I should be doing the CFP certification and get that knowledge. That is not something which is our focus area. Our focus is that everybody, each individual is able to learn this. At least they should know about their personal finances. Second thing is, I always tell people that when the finance minister prepares their budget on the 1st of February, on the similar day, you should also prepare your budget. One-page budget is a must, whether you're a student, you are practically a working professional or an entrepreneur or whatever you're doing, you're a homemaker, whatever you're doing, prepare a one-page budget for yourself on the 1st of February. I think 23rd July we have another budget. My request would be that prepare that, and we would like to see that majority of the Indians start preparing their own budgets. The other thing is that what our objective is to make people understand that yes, I need to discuss about my finances with my family, with my relatives, with my known people, and tell them about my investments, because the challenge is that India has got 42,270 crore rupees, which is lying unclaimed with the banks. Yeah. Why? Because people never informed their families that they have got such an investment. I have seen cases that sliced and had applied. The wife is running from one place to another to borrow money, to sell her bangles and whatever jewelry she had, to pay for the hospital bills. Next day the person wakes up after the operation and asks the wife that, okay, how did you arrange for the money? She says that, okay, I have sold my jewelry and I have borrowed money from XYZ. And this person says, oh, you did not check the Almira, I had kept the health card there. Now the point is that if you had the health card, wife said that you never informed me. Right? So you should have those discussions with your family, talk to them, and talk to the right person for your advice. Don't take it from anyone and everyone, and for the CFP professionals, that's really very important. Currently, we are at 2731, we are looking at touching at least 10,000 CFP professionals by 2030, and beyond that, we would like to grow in numbers because the demand is high. Banks ask me, so many mutual fund companies are asking me to give them people. I do not have people, right?
No, actually.
Yeah, so demand is so high and supply is so less that we have got more jobs and less number of people to apply to those jobs. And it will remain the same for a very long time because we will not be able to grow at the speed which India needs people. So idea would be that each and every person who gets into this profession is able to educate at least one family. Right? Think of the impact if you educate one family, you'll be able to help so many families around the world, right? And in this country. People talk about sustainable development goals, right? But sustainability cannot come if one family is not sustainable. Yeah, so that's really very important. We need to be financially sustainable at each and every level. We should know that our life goals are really very important. We have got milestones to achieve and we should achieve them. If I want to go to Switzerland after 5 years, I should be able to save that money, right? I should not be looking at buying gold at the time of Akshay Tritiya alone or maybe marriage. It's better that I start planning for it and month on month I keep that saving so that when I actually need it, I've got the right purpose, right? I have seen cases wherein people start their careers at the age of 22, 23, but they are not able to plan for their retirement or maybe plan for their investment till the age of 43, 44. Why? Because they get into that spending problem. Right? Or the credit problem. Do you know that after 2020, 47.1% of Indians, they have started taking unsecured loans. Though their incomes have increased, the amount of unsecured loans have also increased. And do you know why it has happened? Because of the buy now, pay later schemes and the credit cards of the world. So it is really very important for you to understand that do you actually need to spend through your card. If you have got the right money with you in your debit card and you are doing the right investments, you should be able to handle all these opportunities in the right way, which is being more prudent towards you, right? So our objective would be to make each and every Indian understand the importance of their finance.
Wonderful, that's a very great vision you have set for yourself and the organization. Usually in Insightful Minds professional talk series, we call it as professional talk series, and this is the 4th episode of it. So while we start with the very first subject, the core subject today was relating to financial planning. We don't confine only to that. So when we get an opportunity to interact with a leader, we exploit that opportunity.
Sure.
So because large number of students are listening to you, you have been in leadership role of various organizations. What made you to a leader standing today's position? What are the attributes? What made you or your journey, to become that leader? That will be definitely inspiring for a lot of youngsters.
Sure,
like to hear from you.
See, as I said, that struggle is part of life. Yeah, it's not that when you see somebody successful that they have not struggled. I have also struggled, but remember one thing as students that when struggle comes, you are able to build your character there. Yeah, with time you are able to build a very strong character, and your character is formed, and you are able to navigate things in life better. The other thing is that whatever you never liked in your life initially, right? Never do those things with the youngsters. That's really very important for any leader. When I started my career, I was also not very clear what will I do in life. Somebody might be feeling that, okay, I was very clear that 20 years down the line I will become a CEO. But yes, I had said once to someone that I would like to become a CEO by the time I touch this age. And practically I have been able to do that. That's a different story altogether. It doesn't happen every time. But what is really very important for us is to ensure that we keep on learning. If need be, unlearning and relearning. Unlearning is really very important because each of the roles what we play in life, okay, whether we are doing it kind of a role at home or maybe businesses or wherever we are, whatever we do, right? Practically what we need to understand is that we should not carry that baggage on our head. Most of the times people carry a strong baggage, thinking that I have got my knowledge, my values, and your values, your perceptions, your knowledge which you get from family, you already have that. The education system is such, my friend, that we are at the peak of our creativity till the age of 5. This was a research done by the Hindu. And as and when we start growing, our creativity diminishes. Right, practically diminishes. So what I want the students to do is that keep yourself open, think of the box, okay, be creative, don't fear of taking risks. Okay, risks are part of life. you should always take a calculated risk in life, understand how to mitigate it, and you'll be able to manage the things really well. Always remember, life is never a straight line. Right? You've seen somebody's ECGs report. If the life becomes a straight line, then we are not there in this one. So it is always a zigzag. So there is a positive moment in life, there is a negative moment in life, and it happens with everyone. Nobody can have a life wherein everything is positive. Right? And then please remember that whatever positive moment or negative moment, money becomes a very, very important area. Right? Whether you are happy or unhappy, you need to have the right funds, right resources, right people to guide you and move ahead. Always remember, have a coach or a mentor. Okay, this is really important. Don't compete with your friends. Competition doesn't help. Always collaborate. If in your class you have a friend who is good at a certain area and you are good at another area, try to learn with that person. If you are collaborating, both of you, friends, both of you will be doing really well in your life. But if you just compete with each other, what will happen is you will move ahead but in silos. The world needs people to come and collaborate. There are no boundaries in this world anymore. We have to collaborate wherever we are and help each other to reach the best of the places. And I can tell you that my mentors, my friends, my relationships in the network which I have built is the reason for me to reach here.
Wonderful. So few critical takeaway for particularly this question is collaboration. So that's something very vital, and to have the mentors. If you are really aspiring to have a great professional journey, always you need to have right mentors at right time. Krishan, what we came to the concluding part of it, we'll take few questions from students, and then with that we'll the last part of our agenda. I mean, you can read out the questions. I understand few of the messages that would have come.
Yes.
So you can read out few questions for the interest of larger audience.
Sure, sir. The first question is about the experience. So let's imagine there is a person who has 2 years or 3 years of experience, who has the CFP certification. But again, at the other hand, there is a person who has a 10 or 12 years of experience.
Yeah.
He is, unofficially taking the financial decision, investing in stocks like that. So when comparing to the person who has that experience, when comparing to them, the person who has, when comparing to them a little bit less experience but still have the CFP certification, how they will stand out from them?
Sure. See, as I said, a CFP certification clearly tells people that you are the trusted source. That's number one. Number two is that it is not about the number of years you have spent in the industry. It is more about the number of quality years you have spent in the industry. Right? That really matters a lot. The quality of experience and the knowledge, the learnings you have will differentiate you. It is not about the age. It might be that you are 25 today with a lesser number of experience. You might be better than a 45 or a 50-year-old man. It's very, and I have seen those cases. And one thing for the students is to remember that the next generation is smarter than the previous generation. Okay, you are smarter than the generation we belong to, right? And the next generation which will be coming after you would be smarter than you. See, the other thing is that experience, as I said, has to be the right experience. The quality is more important. And second is, if you have the right experience in the financial services domain, you have an opportunity to actually upskill yourself with the certification. Somebody who doesn't have this, you should encourage them to do it for their own benefit. Because ultimately there will be a time wherein the regulators would not like you to just go and give that advice or support to a client in case you are not qualified or certified.
Very true.
Yeah, that credential plays a major role. So it doesn't matter you are younger or older, whatever age you are. I can tell you, as I mentioned to you, 18 years is the youngest or the oldest to be, right? And 75 is the youngest.
Yes.
Any more questions?
Yeah, next is that one student is asking, when is the right time to take CFP? I mean, after PG or after, a professional degree which you have completed like that.
So, my friend, very good question. Thank you so much for asking this. According to me, it's now. So, whenever you wake up, that's the right time. Okay. It is, see, practically, after 12 people start the certification. However, they cannot complete it before graduation because our qualification is more or less at the level of a post-graduation qualification. Right? However, if you are a graduate or you have completed your post-graduation, you are mature enough to understand these topics. Right? A younger person might not be able to understand the nuances of investments and taxes because they have never studied these topics. Right? However, if you spend some time and learn these topics and then come to the course, you become more mature and you are able to handle them really well. Because it is not about passing the exam. right? Passing is something which will happen only when you're preparing well to pass, right? If somebody is preparing well to fail, nobody can pass also,
Absolutely.
right? And I can tell you that I have seen cases wherein people are professionals. They've spent 15 years, 20 years in the industry. They are MBAs and chartered accountants from the best of the institutions. They also fail.
No, of course, very true, very true.
So for the students, this is the right time. Don't think about it. If you delay it, then obviously the life would be delayed. It is about your career. If you can start it as soon as possible, you will be able to move ahead in your career ladder faster than anybody else.
Definitely, a professional qualification makes a lot of difference. It's like, you are learning a lot of skill sets along in that journey. So if you are planning to become a professional, then this is the time. Okay. Any other questions? So I think we will have more questions which will circulate to you over email and others. So once the students much more. Krishan, it has been a great interaction with you. The moment you say that we are looking at building the number of professionals in India, educated professionals who can give competitive advices and helping the community at a large, and through that the nation as a whole. That indicates the long-term vision you have set for yourself, and definitely in times to come, as I mentioned, I have seen how CFE evolved in India, and I could see that it is budding as one of the leading finance professional programs in India. And I wish you all the very success for FPSB in India and yourself and the entire team for your mission to accomplish. Thank you so much for joining us and enlightening the youngsters with a whole lot of wisdom relating to financial planning, the certification, FPSB program as a whole and its journey, everything, So we thank you once again, Krishan ji, for being part of this professional talk series, and looking forward to have more interactions. All the very best. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Vinod, and I hope I have been able to make some sense. Students, just think about your careers and